Ooh, hello, I'm a ghost. No, I'm joking. It's me, Alison Spittle. I'm a comedian. That's my job. I am coming to you from the London Irish Centre in Camden, London. It is very quiet. It's Halloween. I'm feeling the vibes. How are you feeling in your homes? Are you feeling safe? Are you feeling well? I hope so, because Halloween is a great time and you should be feeling safe. Come here. I want to talk to you about the London Irish Centre. They are a brilliant organisation that's been going since 1955. They are a cultural hub for Irish people living within London, and also they do a lot of community reach outs to people, such as elderly people, and throughout the pandemic they've really stepped up to the plate. So although this is a great night where we're going to have a bit of crack, we're going to listen to some music and we're going to hear some great stories. We're also going to hear what the London Irish Centre do.
It's great to be back. Today was my first day in the centre welcoming people back, and it was just really nice to see everyone. Obviously circumstances are quite different at the moment.
It's a small crowd at the moment. It's 10, 3 times a week. Please God will be able to increase it as it goes on, you know.
Overcome I am really, because I was missing it so much. Every day I missed it, but now I'm back.
You know, it's nice to see everyone back and nice friendly faces in the Irish Centre. A hell of a lot miss that Irish Centre.
We're just taking it day by day at the moment. We'll see how this week goes, we'll have a look at next week, and then we'll go from there. But hopefully we'll be able to start slowly introducing other activities, and we'll obviously have safety as a priority the whole way through.
Everyone is happy to be back. We don't want to go home.
Oh, that's brilliant. Look, if you can help, all the information is at the bottom of the screen. Donations would be gratefully received. And I think it's a great centre. It's done me a lot of good now as a recent immigrant. So be delighted if you could help out. But now, come here, there's going to be a bit of entertainment tonight. Let me talk to you about it, right? Now, we're going to get on with the show and welcome to our opening acts. Nick Kelly, right? He is a fella that was in a band called The Fat Lady Sings. Great name, I love it. And it was followed by a solo work as Alien Envoy and one half of the Unelectables. That is a lot of stuff to be doing. And he's also a filmmaker and director. That's loads. Wait, and he was shortlisted for an Oscar. Can the man stop? Come here. Okay, slow down, Nick. He's going to be on with us a little bit later. But before that, opening the whole show tonight is Eilis, right? She's a brilliant new singer from Derry. She's had music played on BBC Radio Ulster and as far as Canada and Scotland. Her influences include Lorde and Sleeping at Last, and she's very much got her own sound though. So let's check her out. Let's give a massive sound welcome to Eilis.
Hello, my name is Eilis and this is my song Breathe. Hope you like it. Hiding beneath the surface, behind your eyes, laser rider, scripting lies. Where are you going? What's your purpose? Cut the act, write the story, make it right. And when you get there, it's like a rush. Leave behind all the coaxing. Listen out for your voice, and when you hear it, follow the sound. It will bring you to clarity. Now you can breathe and be all that can see. Realize your abilities. Break away and bend when you get lost in them. Take a step, close your eyes, count to 3 and breathe. It can feel like you're in a circus, painted faces, playing roles, doing tricks, and what you're told. You should know that you're worth more than an atom in the ocean. Make waves of your own when you do it. the sound. It will bring you to clarity. Now you can breathe and be all that can see. Realize your abilities. Break away and bend when you get lost in them. Take a step, close your eyes, count to 3 and breathe. To run with the wind. Now who said that we got to fit in? Now who said boxes were for people and we all belong in one big. Oh, they can't see, realize your abilities. Break away and bend when you get lost in them. Take a step, close your eyes, count to 3 and breathe. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nick Kelly. I'm speaking to you from my office here in Dublin, and just like to say this is a lovely thing to get to do and to be asked to do. So thank you very much for asking, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I was going to do a ghosty song for you, and I actually do have quite a few ghosty songs in my repertoire. My ghosts tend not to be scary. They tend to be sort of more benign or thoughtful or even helpful, which is a thing that I kind of believe is true of quite a lot of us, is that we do feel the spirits of people who've gone before in our family, or the spirits of people who we've really admired, and that we do draw strength and inspiration from those spirits sometimes ourselves in our own lives when we're approaching things and facing into difficult things. Anyway, a hero of mine was a man called Arthur Ashe, who was a black tennis player. He was the first African-American man to really break through in world tennis. He died very young and tragically, but he was playing in the 1970s, and because of the timing, he was kind of being shot by both sides, because he was, a black man coming into a tennis establishment which was very white and conservative and often quite racist. But then there was also this other movement going on, this very radical sort of Black Panther revolutionary movement. And there was a big expectation, I think, in his own community that, black sports people would be radical and revolutionary and angry themselves. Whereas Arthur was this like very diffident, kind of carefully spoken, thoughtful man. But the one place that he wasn't careful was actually on the tennis court. When he went out to play, he would just try the craziest, most ambitious shots, and he probably would have done better as a tennis player if he had been more careful sometimes. But I sort of got to thinking it was because those 36 by 78 feet of the tennis court, that was the one place where nobody could tell him what to do. Anyway, so that I wanted to write a song about that for such a long time, and I had for 15 years literally. I had the tune and I had that idea, but I could never get the voice right. I couldn't really write it in Arthur's own voice, I found. And eventually I realised the only voice I could write it in was that of a Class 3 Dublin Leagues tennis player who works for the Land Commission and usually never takes any risks in their lives, except when they go on the tennis court and they feel that the ghost of Arthur Ashe is there beside them, and that inspires them to go and, really go for their shots and not be careful at all and hit the cover off the ball. Anyway, so this is Arthur Ashe. I hope you enjoy it. Arthur and me, we're out playing Class 3 and we're losing all the weight that the world bequeaths. We're keeping you unbelievers on the edge of your seats, 'cause love means nothing until you've held control and thrown
magical reveals itself in recklessness. I work for the state, I commute, I eat late, and there's so much life I've chosen not to investigate. But here on Court with Arthur is where I've tasted greatness and love, which means nothing until you've held control and thrown it away. And then something magical reveals itself to be love, to mean something. Oh, it means something to Arthur Ashe and me. Let those inches decide if the ball's in or wide. It's nothing to Arthur and me. We elect to be free of the flail and the strain. We just play every game and each point and each shot like it's all we've got to enjoy and to prove that we live and we move. Hit a true and free ball, let it fall where it falls, and we'll never play easy, never play easy, 'cause ease is the enemy of Arthur's beauty. Dark, I drive home, I don't switch on my phone, I just sit here, aching on my couch alone. Then Arthur sits down beside me and we talk about love, you know. Happy Halloween.
Way! Fair play, Nick Kelly and Eilis. That was amazing. Yeah, so come here. I think I need to explain something to you tonight. I want to go through my whole look, right? Today, I am channeling the most Irish of ghosts. It's the Banshee. And not just any Banshee, but the amazing Banshee that made salt and vinegar crisps. I'm Banshee Bones. And because I didn't want to just promote just one set of crisps, I went for all of them. So I got a skirt here made out of potato bags, and I am feeling crispy and fabulous, to be honest with you. I would wear this now to any event. Just please, invite me to one. Well, actually, we can't, can we? A virtual event, and it's a great excuse to dress up. So I hope you have your costumes at home. If you want to contact the London Irish Centre and show what outfits you're wearing on Twitter, that would be lovely. I'd love to see that. Now let's crack on, right? Next we got a person, he's a fellow Westmeath person. He's an actor, singer, songwriter. He does the lot, right? It's Fia Rua, and he is, look, I've seen it. Your mind is gonna be blown. It's quite special. And he is joined by the amazing Anne-Marie O'Sullivan from Enchanted Cree Theatre Company. And she's a puppet maker. So they've kind of combined their talents together and they've made this, look, words can't explain. Have a look at it.
My name is Jack O'Lantern, and I have wandered the byroads and boreens of Ireland for centuries. And I can tell you, I've seen my fair share of polkas and banshees.
Did you know that I can turn into a crow? I bet you can't do that, can you, boys and girls? That's because I am the Phantom Queen, the Morrigan shapeshifter and goddess of darkness. Did you know that in Halloween, I sometimes whisper into my little fairy friends' ears to go and play tricks on farmers, and they take the horses and they take the cows, and when the farmer comes down the next day to feed them, what does he find? A wicked fairy!
Now, boys and girls, Halloween is not all about scary fairies and banshees. You can have games too. Here in Ireland we had loads of games we've been playing for centuries, so why don't you try a few of them? Here, I'll show you. One is called Apple and a String, I suppose. This is how you do it. Look. I'll do it this time. Oh, Jenny, it's not too easy. That's one. The second one is called bobbing for apples. When you get a big saucepan of water, you put an apple in it and you try and eat it. That's not too easy either. And the third game I'm going to show you is involving a cherry and flour. Now, this cherry and flour is very, very dodgy stuff, so I have to be very, very careful, boys and girls. Can you see the cherry on top? And a big dirty knife. And the whole game involves you and your friends slicing up this bit of flour. Tommy, do you want to go? No way, I ain't playing that game now after last year. Don't worry, I won't drop the cherry. It's really easy, boys and girls. Look, you see? Oh no!
Now, I'll be honest with you lads, I've never played that game before, but the first thing I'm going to do now is get myself a cherry and a bit of flour when I get home. That looks like gas crack. The nearest I got to playing games now was cutting up barn brack. We're a very gameless household in my day, really. But fair play, look, you can have a lot of fun. There's a lockdown tip for you there. Get yourself some flour and some cherries and have a class time. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there has been some ghostly being eating the apples. Now, I'm very scared, to be honest with you. I don't know who's eating these apples, but when we find a culprit, I'll tell you. So, next up, we got this wonderful artist called Melina Malone. She's been heard on 2FM. She's got an amazing album coming out called Aphrodite. And yeah, you should really check her out. Let's give a sound welcome to Melina Malone.
Hello, my name is Melina Malone. I am delighted to be singing for the London Irish Centre for their Halloween special tonight. This song is an original song. It's called Tín Tho. It actually came out in the middle of lockdown, so it was released back in June. It's partially in Greek. So my mom is half Greek. My name comes from the Greek word for honey, and yeah, it's kind of an homage to her and to my Greek heritage. And it's also such a summery, fun song to perform. And I think I just wanted to give everyone a bit of a lift in the middle of a dark time, and it really makes me feel like I'm going on holiday. So yeah, I hope you guys like it.
Soy nostalgi Dinato botalene Arabi Dinato Quiero dar trilha chiaroi Piso ismas que esteros chiari Let your mind unwind with me effortlessly. Just take my lead. We can find a secret beach, the salty sea. just you and me, yeah. Sandy skin and sun-kissed cheeks, the life we seek, just like the Greeks. We can win at life, you see. Just stay with me, like by the beach. I'll be waiting here, that's all I need. I believe a life of crime, but there's no waiting. If you care to join me, you can have it too. Cause all I have been waiting for is you. Just take my hand, I'll show you the way. Leave behind your fears, throw you down. So let your mind wander and be at peace. To just be loved. Putamente happy, minador, pupri fatti schiarde soli, che io sto in sotto nostalgia. Water, it rains down harder, the voice sound louder, I can barely breathe, yeah. Water, it rains down harder, the voice sound louder, I can barely breathe, yeah. Water, it rains down harder, the voice sound louder, I can barely breathe, yeah. Water, it rains down harder, the waves sound louder, I can barely breathe, yeah. Louder, I can barely breathe. Fatti schiarde soli, che io sto in nostalgia di notte.
Thank you, Melina. Holiday vibes is right. I am loving this. Now, if you're enjoying this array of excellence and you can spare a few bob, please help support the London Irish Centre. They help the most vulnerable in the community. And when COVID came, a community of volunteers, staff and supporters rose to the challenge. We delivered lots of hot meals, created new helplines, moved advice services online, and we established new befriending relationships with the most isolated. We also brought Irish culture and education digitally to over 250,000 people, while providing equipment for the digitally excluded. To help us continue providing a whole raft of services, the donation details are at the bottom of your screen. Now, I think it's time for a scary story. Since 2006, Clare Murphy has been telling stories all around the world, in Minneapolis, Sweden, the Globe Theatre, even in NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. How class is that? And for President Mary Robinson. Look, this is an amazing CV. She's got quite a scary tale for us tonight, so gather round. That was very scary. Oh, Clare, incredible. I think, look, my nerves are at me now. I think it's time that we change the vibe a bit. I know it's Halloween, that was scary, but let's go on to a bit of music. Now, Aindrias De Staic, he is a wonderful entertainer. I've seen him a fair few times. Electric Picnic, he was very good. He's a fiddle player. He also, you might recognise him if you watch a bit of TG Caher. He's been known to appear there too. Now, Aindrias, right, he's got a selection of jigs, which I think now, because my nerves are at me now, let's get it out of our legs, right? We'll jig out those nerves. There's nothing better than to get over a scare by giving yourself a good jig. So let's give a big Samhain hello to Aindrias De Staic.
Hey, how's it going? Happy Halloween to all over there in Camden in the London Irish Centre, and indeed Irish all over the world. I'm here in the west of Ireland. I have the pumpkin, or indeed the more traditional being the turnip, all about to be carved up into lanterns. Right, I'll play a set of jigs. I don't know the name of the first one. I'll quickly go into the Mist-Covered Mountain, a great tune written by Junior Crehan, and I might come home then with the Battering Ram. So, a selection of jigs. Happy Halloween.
Incredible fiddle playing, and I must say, incredible hair, Aindrias. I need to know your secret. Please tell me. What I love, by the way, about doing this show is our wonderful artists have given their time and their talents, and also given me a lovely peek into their houses. Now, I love that kitchen. I am seeing some great house plants from the other ones in the times before. A bit of pumpkin work, I'm liking it, and I'm excited to see what we see next. Now, next up, our brother and sister team, right? It's Grania and Aaron, and they are children, and children are the most important part of Halloween. I think it's wonderful to hear children's opinions on Halloween, and these two, they're brilliant. Please give it up. Give a big sound round of applause for Grania and Aaron.
The thing that I love about Halloween is that if I'm wearing a witch's hat and I'm dressed up as a witch, I'm taller than my brother.
What I love about Halloween is eating lots of sweets, nearly getting sick. Great.
The naughtiest thing that I've done is told my brother that I hid his sweets upstairs, and then he was wandering around the house looking for them, and then he was going, "Grana, where did you hide my sweets?" when I was downstairs eating his sweets.
I really liked the Halloween games, and we did money bobbing one year, and you'd like duck your face in, and it was really hard to get the money because it was a lot thinner than the apples, and I got $2.50.
If I were to hunt somebody, it'd be my sister Ella, because sometimes she's really, really annoying.
The person who I would haunt, I'd haunt my first class teacher.
Amazing, Aaron. Yeah, that's a good person to haunt. Do you know who I would haunt? Are the people that give monkey nuts away for trick or treat. I don't know what you're at. You're a disgrace. I'm looking directly into the camera at you. just mini chocolate bars. You can't go wrong. Do you have monkey nuts? No, sir. Not part of my Halloween anyway. And amazing I presume €2.50 or £2.50 for the apple bobbin. That's quite the inflation now. Back in my day, you were lucky to get 50 cent. So like, just kids have it well this year. That's all I'm saying. Right. Now, it's not just about the old stories. Last month, right, Irish Times journalist Patrick Freyne, he brought out this amazing book called Okay, Let's Do Your Stupid Idea Then, right? And he's a great essayist, and the actor Siobhan O'Kelly is going to read to us from one of my favourite stories in Patrick's book. Siobhan's theatre work includes The Beauty Queen of Leenane and Twelfth Night, and she's been called a midwife, and she's recently starred in the Irish language feature film Aracht, set during the Great Famine. After Siobhan, we got a song from Rónán of Snodaigh, whose band Kila composed the music for that same film, winning them the award for the original music at this month's IFTAs. So the creative calibre is strong tonight. Sure, can you imagine a better evening? Take her away there.
Hi, my name is Siobhan O'Kelly, and I'm going to read an extract from Okay, Let's Do Your Stupid Idea by Patrick Freyne. The story of my brother's birth, starring me. The day my brother was born, I broke my wrist and got a lot of attention, and then he went missing. It was quite a day. My brother is still annoyed about me breaking my arm. Even on the day of my birth, you stole the limelight. He says, in what if you knew him, you'd know to be his customary whining manner. I didn't do it on purpose, I say, crossing my fingers behind my back. I assume I didn't do it on purpose, but to be honest with you, I have no idea what was going through my mind at the time. I was a different man then. I was 7 years old, and there were a lot of haphazard elements circulating the origins of my brother. He was what in those days people happily called an accident. Nowadays, children are often made to feel like their existence is God decreed, destined by fate and foretold by mystical signs. Nowadays, telling a child that they're the result of a birth control device failing would be considered potentially damaging to their self-esteem. In contrast, back in my day, it wasn't unusual to name a child after the birth control device that failed. Anyway, I won't talk too much about my brother's conception. Unlike millennials who probably sit around with their parents watching videos of the event, we Generation Xers don't typically dwell on it. However, I can tell you that I was on a school tour in Dublin with my class when my mother went into labour. I don't remember what the main event of the school trip was, possibly the zoo or the Natural History Museum or just the joy of seeing 3-storey buildings. But at some point we went on a lunch break to St. Stephen's Green. That's when I decided to climb up the slidey part of the slide rather than using the ladder. I believe I was the first person ever to do this. Nowadays, talent spotters would probably note my disruptive abilities and give me a business grant and a subsidised office in a digital hub. Unfortunately, like many innovators, I flew too close to the sun and thus became a cautionary tale of incorrect slide use. Your Uncle Patrick broke his arm by doing that, my mother regularly says to her grandchildren. They usually ask about the nature of the break and whether you could see the bone, because children are monsters. What my mother says is true. As I approached the top of the slide, a smaller-minded but larger-bodied boy decided to slide down the so-called correct way, thus knocking me A, up into the air, B, onto the concrete surface below, and C, into the story of my brother's birth. This was a time before council authorities invested in soft playground surfaces. Back then, it was believed that any injuries earned by children while misusing the facilities was good enough for them. In fact, I'm pretty sure departmental documents on playground safety statistics in 1981 had titles like "Good enough for them," 14 brats who got their comeuppance, and "That'll put a halt to their gallop." So, my right wrist cracked and my chin was split open, spraying blood everywhere. I did not accept my fate stoically, and I proceeded to cry and wail. "Yes, "That's definitely broken," observed a passing businessman who, while not necessarily the greatest mind of his generation, was still on hand to mansplain childhood injuries to my panicking teacher and to help her hail a taxi to hospital. My mother was now in labour, so my father was forced to spend the next 24 hours rushing from her side to mine. He proceeded to take charge. My dad is good at taking charge, but these events must have been a challenge even for him. After my broken bone was put back in place and x-rayed, for example, the doctor said, "Well, it's not perfect. Do you want it perfect?" To which my father said, "Of course I want it perfect." So eventually my arm would have to be rebroken and set again, which is probably why I can type this. Over in the maternity hospital, my brother had been born. But during one of my father's visits to my bedside, he disappeared. Why he disappeared is a mystery, but I've often thought he did it on purpose in order to reclaim the attention being lavished upon me. Frankly, who knows what was going through his infant mind? His absence initially went unnoticed until my mother, in a ward filled with women not yet ready to give birth, asked to see her newborn, whom she had met only briefly several hours before. "You haven't had a baby," said the ward sister with a pitying voice. "None of the women have had babies yet." In 1980s Ireland, if a nurse or a nun told you that you didn't have a baby, it was usually considered better to just go with it. So I'm sure my mother was tempted to do just that. But, to give her credit, she didn't let it lie and decided to ask for her baby once again. So insistent was she that she had definitely recently given birth to a baby that some genius decided to look under the blankets. They pressed on my mother's stomach and concluded that she had indeed given birth and that she was in the wrong ward. So they quickly brought her to the nearest postnatal ward where they assured her they would find her baby. It was a smoking ward, so the idyllic sight of all those new mothers breastfeeding with fags in their mouths must have had her gasping both for a baby and a cigarette. She insists on pointing out that she didn't smoke, so she was just gasping for the baby. Sadly, her baby was not in this ward either. "Where is your baby?" the ward nurse asked then. She did so in an accusing fashion, as though my mother had stashed it somewhere as a hilarious prank, and that's when, amid the stench of fags and baby puke, my mother began to cry. The nurses quickly left her side to presumably panic, search for unclaimed babies, and update their CVs. There had recently been a case in which a baby had been abducted from a maternity hospital before being found, unharmed, on the Holyhead London train. This was fresh in everyone's mind. So my mother lay there getting increasingly upset until eventually my father arrived back with me in tow and railed profanely at the staff, until I'm pretty certain my mother wasn't the only person on that ward crying. And then something happened. A baby was produced. "We're not certain it's the right one," I imagine they said. "Do you want the right one?" My father is a very practical man with an eye for a bargain, so if the doctor had offered him a better baby, I'm pretty sure he would have rolled with it. What the nurse actually said to my parents when she wheeled a generic infant into the ward was, "Is this your baby?" This is a difficult question for even the most loving of parents because, as my mother points out, all newborns look exactly the same. He didn't have any facial tattoos or a moustache, and as I said, she had only met him briefly a few hours before. "I guess so," said my parents. And so they got a baby.
Hallo, kom sta. Vi är skiv. Vi är här och håller. Vi är här med Scoundrel. Hope you have a good Halloween over there in London. This is a song called Tall 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 Long. I'm so lucky. chaim me mo chiel an son. Gogan a go fish me mo chrí an son. Gogan a go lenne me da díla son. Gogan a go chas me mo chrom. Or gogan ní son an rod an oral a dom. Na vi an dom. Ní son an rod da díla tita ma ma chrom. Beder går det an talam. An talam. Arna sang alla smakjan. Kommer morgon. Allestan. Vargarna går rich med mot Kielansson. Vargarna går islig med mot Briansson. Vargarna går regn med mot Geansson. Vargarna går chas med mot Ron. Vargarna Nissan on rod a Orlandam. Na vi andam. Nissan on rod a vila tita mamma charo. Beder går det van talam. On talam. Arna sang alla smakjan. Går om och om. Allestan. 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 Safe, lucky and happy. Slán Toshín, Miss Rónán ó Kila.
Thank you, Rónán and Siobhan. That was fantastic. Now, there's a lot going on for Halloween this year, and this is a bit out of the ordinary. But what's great is how people have been reinventing the festivities for the glamour that is the year 2020. Now, we're going to hear from Vancouver-based Ciara Barnes about a horror film festival that you can feast your gory eyes on. But first, Toshín are a soul and R&B six-piece from Dublin. Now, being a six-piece in a 6-week lockdown, it's a bit tricky. So I'm delighted that the lead singer Toshín and Toshín Bancole and multi-instrumentalist, love that word. Look, if you have that talent, it can be that hard to pronounce as a thing, multi-instrumentalist. Louis Young, perfect, can pronounce that grand. Instrumentalist, no fun now, to be honest with you. From the band, anyway, I'll get over that. They've come together, right, to record us a special acoustic arrangement of their song, Knock Knock.
Hi everyone, we're Toshín and this is Knock Knock.
if I catch you again in this crazy mind of mine. This story should end. I have wasted so much time. Sit back and relax. I'll be back before you know. This time, in fact, I will stay until you go. You're gonna want to forget these things that you say are stuck in my head. I know you want to believe I'll never be free, but you don't know me. Da-da-da-dum-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. Da-da-da-dum-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. You made my mind go ways. Ba-da-da-dum. Yeah, yeah. I'll never see her again. Ba-da-da-dum. You made my mind go ways. Ba-da-da-dum. Yeah, yeah. Never see her again. There are people changing, we rearranging, storms are breaking, people shaking, no time to say no, it's for the brave, living in them judgment days. You're gonna want to forget these things that you said, they're stuck in my head. I know you want to believe I'll never be free, but you don't know me. Ba-da-da-dum-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum-dum. Ba-da-da-dum, make my mind go ways. Ba-da-da-dum, yeah, yeah, never see her again. Ba-da-da-dum, you made my mind go ways. Ba-da-da-dum, yeah, yeah, never see her again. Feeling trapped inside this big mind of mine. Knock, knock, get me out. Help me, I'm screaming out. Feeling trapped inside this big mind of mine. Knock, knock, get me out. Help me, I'm screaming out. Feeling trapped inside this big mind of mine. Knock, knock, get me out. Help me, I'm screaming out. Feeling trapped inside this big mind of mine. Knock, knock, get me out. Help me, I'm screaming out.
Hi, my name is Kira Barnes, and I'm a Canadian citizen born to European parents. My father is from Hastings, England, and my mother is from Dublin, Ireland, where I myself ended up living for 4 years after university. Now, I'm back in my hometown of Vancouver, BC, and I am the Director of Sponsorship and Development for the Vancouver Horror Show Film Festival. After a sold-out, critically acclaimed first 2 years, the festival is back for its 3rd year running, and this year, we're going digital, baby. We've got expanded programming, which includes filmmaker Q&As, 7 feature films, and 42 short films from 13 different countries. All of our programming is available on demand for streaming worldwide until November 1st, and you can find it at www.vancouverhorrorshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram as well at Vancouver Horror Show for all of the latest news. And get ready to get scared from home. Boo! That was just a teaser.
Fair play. Now you can find the scary movies at that website. Again, it's vancouverhorrorshow.com, and those are available until tomorrow night. So be quick, it's the weekend for it, and you'll have a good time. Right, next. Olivia Armstrong is a great friend of the London Irish Centre. She's been making a lot of us very happy with her enthralling tales online recently. But in normal times, she's outside telling stories. She could be at Buckingham Palace, St Paul's Cathedral and Westminster Abbey, or with her site-specific, knew I'd get it, performances, and she'll be drawing us closer for a story in a few minutes. Before that, I'd like you to meet Emma Langford. If you don't know her already, she's amazing. I've seen her live in this very building and she just blew the roof off this place. She's a Limerick lady. She's got a new album coming out called, well, it's already out, Sowing Acorns, and it's a beautiful new album, and she's determined that a global pandemic will not soften her cough. Please give a big sow and welcome. Singing Demon Darling, a song from her beautiful new album, it's Emma Langford.
You fell into his arms that night. I watched as you gave in to vanity and loneliness and all your buried thoughts of him, and darkness overcame you as you tangled up in sheets. Oh, what tangled web you weave. You're so practiced in deceit. You've got a demon, darling. It's hungry for the kill, and if you don't slay it now, perhaps you never will. You never will. You followed him out of the dark to where eyes could meet, and danced to music in your head. Toe to toe you shared a beat, so easily you drifted into some top to dream, where nothing else existed out beyond your blinding streetlight's beam. You've got a demon, darling. It's hungry for the kill, and if you don't slay it now, perhaps you never will. You never will. Yeah. You never will. You never will. When he awoke, he'd left you with the love he'd left behind, and an olive branch around your wrist. All he'd left is your mind. When he awoke, he'd left you with the love he'd left behind, and an olive branch around your wrist. All he'd left is your mind. Got a demon, darling. It's hungry for the kill, and though if you don't slay it now, perhaps you never will. You've got a demon, darling. It's hungry for the kill. If you don't slay it now, perhaps you never will. You never will. Yeah. You never will. You never will.
Halloween in Ireland was a time when seasonal labourers who travelled around for work returned home. On the roads back, they would stop in strangers' houses, where in return for hospitality, they sweetened the nights with songs and stories. Paddy Ahern was one such labourer, but when he was asked for a story, he'd say he had none. Soon he noticed that when folk met him on the road, they'd race home, close their doors, blow out their lamps and pull down their shutters, for no one wanted to be stuck with a fella that had no tale to tell. Poor Paddy would be forced to sleep outside under the hedges, the distant barking of foxes his only company. One late October, when the air was filled with whispering strangeness, trees wept leaves, bare branches scratched low clouds. Paddy was on his wandering way homeward through the empty countryside of damp, ridgy fields, the sun falling low, the winter chill deep in his bones, when he saw a big house looming up ahead. Its door opened, and there was a strange man with a hat pulled down low who said, "Welcome, Paddy Ahern. Come and take your place at my table." Paddy hadn't a clue how this fella knew his name, but he was too hungry to say anything. They had supper, and then the stranger said, "Now, Paddy, tell me a story." Paddy said he had none. The stranger sighed, but showed Paddy where to sleep. Not a wink of rest would he get, for the door creaked open, and in crept 3 wee men, dragging a coffin. "Who will help carry the coffin? Who but Paddy Ahern?" says they. And Paddy, trembling with terror, had to heave the coffin out across the fields to the graveyard with the high wall around it. "Who will take the coffin over the wall? Who but Paddy Ahern?" And Paddy had to haul the coffin up over the wall, and though he could hardly stand by now, there would be no rest for him. "Who will dig the grave? Who but Paddy Ahern?" says they. They gave him a shovel, and he started to dig. "Who will open the coffin? Who but Paddy Ahern?" And Paddy, nearly astray with terror, had to jump down, open up the coffin lid, and guess what? It was empty. Who will get in the coffin? Who but Paddy Ahern? They made a grab for him, but Paddy was already up and away over the wall in one buck leap. He fled as fast as he could, the 3 wee men in hot pursuit. Then Paddy saw a lamp in a window. He made for it, shouting to the people of the house to save him. The door opened, and there was the man with the hat pulled down low over his eyes, smiling away. This was too much for poor Paddy, who fell away in a faint. When he came to, it was daylight. The strange man was up and about in his kitchen. There wasn't a sign of anyone else. "Ah, you're awake now, Paddy. Did you sleep well?" "I did not," says Paddy. "I'm nearly destroyed after last night, and not a second longer will I stay in this haunted house." And he legged it to the door, just as the strange man said, "Now listen, Paddy, I felt sorry for you, wandering the world without a story in your head. Isn't it the fine tale you have to tell at every stop you make from now on?" Well, Paddy flew out the door, and he didn't stop running till he crossed the ditch. He looked behind, but there was no sign of the house, only the bare fields and the low clouds. But it was true what the stranger had said. Paddy now had a fine story, and was welcomed everywhere to tell it. Sure, who do you think told it to me?
Well, I can't believe it. It's the end. It's the end of the show. It really has crept up on me, so it has. And I want to say thank you so much to the London Irish Centre and everybody who helped out, the amazing artists that have given their time. I think did a great job filming themselves. And yeah, a big boulabus and a round of applause. Now, it's been the perfect way to spend Samhain. And the London Irish Centre are a fantastic organisation. If you look at the bottom of your screen there's some information about how you can donate to the London Irish Centre and support them in all the wonderful work they do. On a personal note from me, I found out who was eating the apples. It was this lad here with his opposable jaw. You're as guilty as sin. 'Tis a disgrace. Not only did he have the apples, he also took a big chunk out of that pumpkin. That is a hard skin to get through, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, our next guest and our final person to play us out is the amazing Jack Lukeman. Now, Jack Lukeman is a brilliant artist. He's done stuff with Jules Holland, Neil Sedaka, all of the legends. And it's wonderful that we have him to play us out tonight. I've been Alison Spittle, your host. I host a thing called Co-Video Parties. Every week or so, basically we watch a film together on Twitter, and like what London Irish are offering here and what we're doing together now, it's a time for community, and it's been wonderful to spend our Halloween and Samhain with you, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Keep the Samhain fires burning, as they say, and from me, it's goodbye. I'm going to brush the floor now with this witch's broom. To go out, I'm going to shake these papers like a news person. So I'll just pretend I'm reading the news there, and you go watch Jack Lukeman. Right. Good luck.
Happy Samhain celebrations, everybody. Have a great, fun night. Here's one about the King of Soho, an Irish boy who did well in London. Well, long time coming, yeah, the big time is here. The future looks bright, yeah, the course seems clear. Long time coming, hey, 10 long years, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I hear you sing, I'm the king of soul. Come on. Everybody knows I'm the king of soul. Well, everybody knows. Long time coming, hey, listen to me. I got friends everywhere from the streets of Malacca down to Camden Street, yeah. To see me coming, crown on my head, scepter in my hand, still smoking, still cut red. So, well, everybody knows I'm the king of soul. Well, everybody knows I get so long when I get to the river, I'm gonna be a rich, rich man. When I get to the river, I'll marry my Queen of Africa, Queen of Africa. Well, one time coming, hey, they tried to frame me, those lawyers and judges, but I swore on the Bible and all those Gideons. The ladies love me, the gentlemen too. Keep your hands in your pockets, for you could help the king of soul. Everybody knows I'm the king of soul. Well, everybody knows I get so lonely when I get to the river, get to the river. I'm gonna be a rich, rich man when I get to the river. push my face neath the Caspian Sea. Long time coming, I can hear it faintly. I'm the king of soul. Everybody knows I'm the king of. Everybody knows I'm the king of soul. Everybody knows I'm the king of soul. Well, everybody knows I get so lonely when I get to the river. When I get to the river, I'm gonna be a rich, rich man. When I get to the river, when I get to that river, I'll marry my queen of Africa. Long time coming, my friends. Happy Samhain, Gurv Mila Margaret.